Hello, you are welcome to this class. This class is meant to be an answer to a particular question that somebody asked when we posted the video that we posted the last time. And this person's question is, what is the difference between a linking verb and an auxiliary verb? So it is as a result of this that I decided to explain this. However, there are things that a person needs to know. There are things that we necessarily need to treat before talking about this. Things such as subjects, predicates, objects, verb forms, and a whole lot of them. These things ought to be understood before a person begins to treat this. But I am treating this having in mind that the person that asked me that question already knows about those things. Now, with time, we are going to treat those other things, like the ones I mentioned, for those who might not have become conversant with them. Now, the question is, what is the difference between a linking verb and an auxiliary verb? I am going to be starting with the auxiliary verb. In English language, when we treat verbs, we are told that the verbs are of two categories. We have the main verbs, and the auxiliary verbs. By that adjective, auxiliary, what do you think? An auxiliary verb has another name, a helping verb. It is a verb that helps. Now, to understand this better, there are situations where you find some verb forms not being able to stand alone. There are verb forms that cannot stand alone without being helped. Such verb forms like verbs in the progressive form, something like going. You cannot say, I going to school. You cannot have this going standing alone in a sentence. That is why, for this going to be used in a sentence, this form of verb, for it to be used in a sentence, there is the need to attach an auxiliary verb. That is why you see something like, I am going to school. This is an auxiliary verb. He is, this is an auxiliary verb, coming to our house. Now, those verb forms that cannot stand alone without being helped, this is what we refer to as the auxiliary verb, helping them. It is a helping verb. Apart from verbs in the progressive tense form, there are verbs in the perfect tense form. Such verbs like gone. This word, as a perfect tense form of the word go, this verb cannot stand alone in a sentence. You cannot say he gone already. No. There has to be a verb, maybe has, had, or have. These are also auxiliary verbs. These verbs are meant to help. There are situations where a person might need to make a sentence or a statement in the future tense form. You want to talk about something that will happen in future. It has not happened. It is still going to come. You cannot present such a statement or sentence without an auxiliary verb. The auxiliary verb that will come in is the verb will or shall. Now, you need these verbs to help the other verb, to tell you what that other verb is all about, the tense of that other verb. Something like, I will eat. I will eat. The will there is meant to tell anybody listening to you that this sentence is in the future tense form. This is what we mean by auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verbs are meant to help some verb forms. They are meant to help some verb forms to achieve their aims. It helps them to pass the information that they wish to pass across and effectively. That is about the auxiliary verb. Now, what is a linking verb? The word linking should have to do with joining two things together, bringing two things together. Now, when you talk about a linking verb, take note that some auxiliary verbs can be linking verbs as well. Some linking verbs can be auxiliary verbs. Now, a linking verb is that verb. Whenever you see a verb playing the role of holding two things together, the two things being held together is especially the subject. In fact, the subject and maybe an adjective or a noun. Now, it links the both of them together. It helps you to show the relationship between the subject and something in the predicate. That thing in the predicate can be a noun, it can be a pronoun, it can be an adjective. Take, for instance, when you have something like, he is a boy. Take a look at what you have here. This is a verb. Plays the function of a verb here. What you have here is a linking verb. It links this and this. It tells you that this boy is still talking about this. So is links the two of them. Is meant to tell you that the same person here is the same person here. This is telling you about this, and it needs this is. This is linking the two of them. This is where you find such a verb with the shape of an auxiliary verb playing the role of a linking verb. There are situations. Let us make use of an adjective here now. Let's say that time you see a sentence like, she looked pretty. This is also a linking verb. Why? Because she and pretty should be related. This pretty talks about the she, whoever this person is. Now, this verb is meant to show you the relationship between this and this adjective. It holds the both of them together. This is different from when you have a sentence. It is different from when you have a sentence like, he ate the meat. Take a look at what you have here. We have he. This is the verb, and we have meat. This and this do not have any relationship. This is a subject. This is an object. The both of them are different. This is the performer of the action. This is the sufferer of the action. They are not the same. But those situations where you find out that whatever is here is linked with what is here, or rather, that whatever you have here gives information about the subject. Whatever you have on this side, maybe it can be a complement. Yes, most of the times it is a complement. When you have such a situation where what you have here goes to give you information about the subject of the sentence that has been mentioned, what you have there is a linking verb. Remember I said, for those who may not have understood what the subject, the complement, the object, and the rest of them, what they are and what they mean in sentences, we are going to be treating that in the subsequent videos to come. But I just hope that the person that asked that question, that this has been able to satisfy you, like it has been able to answer what you want. Do well to come to the comment section and tell us what you feel. If there is something else you want us to talk about for you specifically, always feel free to tell us about that. And most importantly, please do share our videos. Thank you so much.